Hey folks, thanks for joining me in another video. Today I'll be showing you my current everyday carry that you see before you here. I'm going to go ahead and step through all these different items, give you a little bit of an explanation, maybe bring in a couple other items that I've been sort of rotating in and out in different roles here, and that'll be that. So it's been quite a while since I've done one of these videos. In fact, it's been about 6 months since I've done an EDC video. And the reason for that is because things in my everyday carry rarely change all that much. I might switch one item for another, but the core assortment always stays the same, and I guess, hence the name everyday carry. This is the assortment of tools that I carry every single day. So while I may not always have the Spyderco Yojimbo 2 that you see there, I always have a medium to large folding knife. I will always have a pen. I will always have my keychain, always have a light, always a multi-tool, and so on. So there are a couple things that are different, and I'll get into that in just 1 second, but I'll quickly go over some of the items that are always the same. One of those is the Cold Steel Inferno pepper spray. Handy little item, quite small. This clips to my belt loop and tucks into my back pocket, so it's easily stored. If I'm wearing a coat, I can just slip this into the inside pocket of my coat or jacket. If I'm walking through a parking lot, somewhere a little bit dicey, somewhere I might be a little bit concerned that, there may be a potential threat of any kind, then I might keep this actually in my pocket, in hand, ready to go. Late at night, early in the morning, dark, not a lot of people around, that sort of thing. Not something I typically worry about, but it is handy to have at least one or two tools on hand to help defend yourself and sort of even the odds if you were ever put in a bad situation. So that's what I carry for that purpose. My wallet is the Allet wallet, and I think there's a brand name. Sweet, cat hair right in the ID window, like usual. You have cats, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There you can see Allet billfolds, made in USA. In fact, I just recently discovered over the last few months that these folks are actually in San Diego, right here in good old San Diego, Southern California. So that's kind of cool. I've had this for quite a while, several months. I don't know if I've had it for a year, but darn close to it. And it's been holding up beautifully. The plastic window here that you would slip your ID into, it tends to sort of haze a little bit as it gets scuffed and scratched. You take the cards in and out, so you can kind of see it. It's got a bit of wear, but it's still very, very transparent, so I have no trouble showing my ID through that window. And most vendors do not ask me to remove it, so it can be pretty convenient. You have 2 pockets for cards on this side, and each of these pockets can fit several cards. I think the most I've ever put in any of them is 3, and typically they only have 2. So I'll have 2 credit cards in here, 2 in here. Sometimes one of those will be a gift card for some place, and I'm trying to remember to spend it. I put my ID, insurance, registration, and health card in here, and the registration and insurance are just thin pieces of paper, so those fit quite easily. Credit card or debit card right there. And then in the back of the wallet you have 2 slots, one that you can use for cash, or another that you could possibly use if you were traveling. You might have 2 different kinds of cash for whatever reason, or I use one of the slots for receipts. So I keep the receipts in the back and I keep the cash in the front. Very convenient, extremely thin, impossibly light. I think empty this thing is far less than an ounce. It weighs, it's paper thin, paper light, but very durable. Nice nylon. It's got sort of an interesting, rugged, sort of striped pattern on the outside that I rather like. I think that it doesn't necessarily look classy, but it blends in with a lot of different items that you might carry day to day, so it's easy to kind of disappear into the background, which is it's something I think a wallet should do. The next item you'll see here, now this is a little bit different, not entirely, but this is Field Notes, a Field Notes notebook, 48 pages of lined, blank, or otherwise patterned paper that you would write on just various things. There's nothing really special about it. But one thing I do like about Field Notes is that they're very simple. They're pocketable, they're thin, but they're just the right size. Now for a while, some of you might recall, I think I had it in past videos, I was carrying a little Moleskine, however you want to pronounce it. I was carrying one of their small little mini journals. You can see it's quite a bit smaller than the Field Notes booklet. But it was a little too small. In fact, sometimes I just found it difficult to write in this notepad. And so I stopped carrying this and went with the Field Notes, and I'll show you. This one, now I've got rubber bands on some of them because I have things like Christmas lists and other little surprises that I like to keep prying eyes around this household from looking at. So I'll wrap them in rubber bands, and that lets everybody know if it has rubber bands around it, you may not open it and read it unless I give you permission. But here is a similar one. This is the pitch black edition. There's a lot of different editions. In fact, real quick, let me show you a handful of these. These screaming bright neon field notes that you see here are from it's kind of wreaking havoc with my viewfinder. They're so bright. I don't know how that's going to translate in the final video, but these are absolutely beautiful. As you all know, I like bright colors. I love neon colors. I just think that we can't get enough color. There's a lot of tactical black. You can see it all here. A lot of chrome, that sort of style, stainless steel, and I just like injecting a little bit of color here and there when I can. So that's why you'll see even my rubber bands are going to be bright. I just like to keep a little color in. But this was the unexposed edition, which I've just exposed for you. If you're late to the party, the secret is out. What was hidden in the sealed, blind-packed, unexposed edition field notes were a bunch of brightly colored, contrasting neon color schemes. You can see the inside is the reverse of the colors that are shown on the cover. Beautiful notebooks. The quality of the outside of the notebooks is excellent. I like the patterning that they use inside for the papers. As I mentioned, some of them are totally blank. I have some, these are considered reticle graph. They have those little plus signs that compose a graph pattern. And then some, like this one here, this is the Expedition edition. If any of you are familiar with the Write in the Rain series of notebooks, that's its own brand. Field Notes has their sort of version of that called the Expedition edition that you see here. And it's sort of a weather resistant, water resistant, you can get it wet and still write in it type notepad. So if you have a Fisher Space Pen or something along those lines, or if you have a Write in the Rain but you kind of wanted to go the Field Notes direction as far as your notepad is concerned, they now have one to satisfy you. And this one's been out for some time. I just barely figured these out within the last couple months, and then they've been sold out for a while on their website. They just came back in stock, and so I grabbed a couple packs. Field Notes will typically run you about $10 for a 3-pack. There are some editions that differ slightly, but that's the general rule. This one you can see has this really pretty sort of almost hidden embossed globe world pattern there on each side. Nice bright orange, easy to find if you drop it outside on the front. You might be stuck if you drop it with the back facing up. And then this one just has a dot grid, dot graph pattern inside. So these are pretty cool. $10 for 3 little notepads, is it worth it? That's going to be up to everybody. I think that it's right in the sweet spot, not too expensive, but they're not necessarily giving them away either. And I'm happy with the quality overall. I just think they're just the right size. And the one that you see down here, which has been part of my current everyday carry for some time now, I've been carrying this one in particular for several months. You can see it has quite a bit of wear to it. It's wrinkled, it's a little bit abraded at the edges, but it still holds up beautifully. It's not torn anywhere, and it stays together. The staples it is bound with staples at the back there. I don't know if you can be able to see them, but there are staples, and they haven't worn out. Nothing's come free. The paper is still well bound, so I've been really happy with it. Just a nice little simple notepad. You want something that's a little bit fun, a little bit different. Throw in a Field Notes. They're actually getting really popular, so it's not so different anymore. Everybody's got one, but I do recommend them. Cool little basic notepad for those who might want one. Flashlight here. This is a little bit new. It's the same basic form factor that you're used to seeing me carry. For comparison, as a Phoenix PD20. This is the EagleTac D25C. The C standing for clicky, and as you can see at the back, it does have a clicky switch. And this is the titanium edition. This was purchased from a very good friend online. He's on Instagram and YouTube and goes by the name Fort Worth Glock Guy. That's FW Glock Guy. Obviously, you can tell where he's from. And he carried this for some time and put a little bit of wear on it, and then he sent it along my way, and I'm putting a little bit more wear on it. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful light, but it's also one of the best lights in my current assortment that I've been carrying, that I've been sort of cycling through. It's got some real cool modes to it, and I won't go through all the crazy different modes. I'll just show a few different brightnesses real quick. But it does have has mode memory, it has lots of different brightness options. I have in here right now a rechargeable lithium RCR 123, whatever alphabet soup name it has, and it's extremely bright. I don't know the exact lumens, but it's got to be well over 300 on just one cell. It's really out there with the brightness. Nice strong pocket clip on it there, and the little cap at the back that actually glows in the dark. I don't know if you'll be able to. You can kind of see it there. When I cover it up a little bit, it glows bright green, and it glows for hours, which is pretty cool. If you lose it or you set it somewhere where you can see it at night, maybe on your nightstand, you'll be able to find that little switch cap immediately. Pretty cool little feature. So that's been a nice little pocketable light I've been carrying. I've been switching that out with the PD20, as I mentioned, my good old classic 4.7's QTLC. I love this light. It's got the protruding forward clicky light, nice memory to this, sort of a tactical design in how the modes are laid out, but I really like that one as well. So I almost always have a CR123 or a single CR123 sized cell light on me. For my multi-tool, this is the Leatherman Mini Tool. I think I've shown this on some other videos. If you haven't seen one of these before, they're pretty slick. It folds down very small, as you could see it compared to the other items that I have laid out here. And then when you fold it out part way, you've kind of got this little baby handled affair with full size or medium size pliers at the end. And then there's actually the second set of wings or arms that fold out at the bottom, and now you have a full size pair of pliers. And then within those spaces you have a file, a knife, bottle opener, can opener, some other little bonuses. I just like having a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, which this does not have, and pliers. I love having medium to full-size pliers on me at all times. They don't always come in handy. In fact, most days I don't use the pliers on my multi-tool, but on the days that I do use them, nothing else will do, and it has saved me so much time and trouble when it does come in handy that I just can't stand to go without. So that is the, almost dropped it there. That is the Leatherman Mini Tool. And then real quick, just to compare to that, I'll show you a couple other items that I've been carrying. If I'm at work, I have a full-size Leatherman Wave in my work bag, and so I typically on my person will carry something very small. Either something like the Leatherman Style PS, which is a little mini, it's almost like a little mini version of the Skeletool. This one's got pliers, a little pair of scissors, and a nail file. Very simple. I'll dangle that from one of these little pocket danglers, which I've shown in my other videos. You can refer back to those if you want to see more about that. And just hang that in my back pocket. Another one, the venerable Leatherman Squirt P4, which also has a little set of pliers. A lot of people sort of poo-poo or complain about these pliers. I think they're great. They're not going to take your car apart, but for small little nuts and bolts, they work very well, and they also work fantastically as sort of a heavyweight version of tweezers. So if you ever need tweezers for something, these are actually a nice alternative to that. I don't know how loud my cat's being in the background, but as always, if you hear some weird noises in the background, I have a cat trying to tear apart a box. And she's not very successful, but she is making a lot of noise at it. For my pen, this is probably one of my favorite items in my everyday carry. This is the Fisher Space Pen Bullet. This is the Chrome edition. If you watched my review or video on these from a few weeks back, I actually mentioned that I had another one coming in, and this was indeed that model that was coming in. So this is the Chrome finish Fisher Space Pen Bullet. And then real quick, if I've got it nearby, I do, I'll show you. This is the original one. This was given to me from a good friend on Instagram. He gave this to me as a gift, and I had never previously carried a pen. As soon as he gave me this pen, I could not stop carrying it. I can't live without one, and I use it all the time. So there are the two, the chrome and the black, the matte black finish side by side there. Just a terrific tool. It comes in handy. They're very inexpensive. The thing is darn near bulletproof. I carry it in my pocket, and the black one has seen a lot more use. I've actually been carrying it for over a year, and you can see there's quite a bit of wear in that finish. The little brass finish is coming through the enamel on the outside. But tremendously convenient, fairly inexpensive. Under 20 bucks will usually get you one shipped from online. You might be able to find it locally at your big box office store. Can't recommend it enough. If you want a pen on you, but you just want something no nonsense, it's not gonna spill or leak into your pocket. There's nothing to poke or jab you. It's just smooth. It's got a great shape, but it becomes a full-size pen and is quite durable. I don't think anything beats it. I truly don't. So for convenience, I think the Fisher Space Pen Bullet is just about the best of the best. This is my keychain. I've taken my keys off. Someone mentioned in one of my videos, they commented and said, where are your actual keys? If you go back to my old videos, my other keys are on here. But they never change, and they're not really the point of the video. I'm not here to show you my car keys and my house keys. If you really want to see them, go back to one of the old videos for whatever reason. But I'm just showing you the tools that I carry myself. So we have the same Leatherman carabiner I've been carrying for some time. It has a bottle opener on it and a hex wrench, as does just about everything these days. Hanging from that, I've got my Lucky Line Twisty keyring, which is a phenomenal tool. Phenomenal little keyring that I think everyone should own. If you don't own one of these, it's probably just because you haven't been able to use one. Drop the $3 or $4 at your local locksmith, or get one online from Amazon or eBay. I can't recommend this and the Flexo Lock, which is sort of the sister version of this keyring. Slightly different opening mechanism. Fantastic, and I love them. I put them on everything because they're durable. They're easy to open. I'll show you that real quick. Twist this puppy into a little figure 8. It pops right open. Twist it back into the same figure 8 to lock it back together, and it ain't coming apart for anything. Very cool. Pocket Widgy, or the what's this, micro Widgy pry bar on the end there. I mostly use my pry bar as a scraper, sometimes for popping staples, as I've mentioned before. Nice little tool, takes up almost no space. Why not carry one? So that's why that's there. You'll always see some kind of pry bar. One of the other ones I'll swap it out with often lately. This was a gift from a very nice friend on YouTube. This is the David Sharpworks Pry Buddy. His little company is called Sharpworks. It's got a little hex wrench on the end, again, as most little multi-tools do these days. Little bottle opener, pry end. You could also use that as a flathead screwdriver at the end if you needed to in a pinch. Flat design, so it's not curved, but serves the same purpose. Great little scraper, pull up staples, pop a paint can lid, whatever you might need to do. Not a lot of length, so not a lot of leverage, but that doesn't stop folks from finding all sorts of great uses for their little mini pry bars. Swisstech Utilikey. This rarely gets used anymore, but it's the size and weight of a key. It's got a flathead Phillips, a blade on it, bottle opener, again, as everything does these days, and just a handy little thing. Every once in a while, the little eyeglass screwdriver will come in handy, so I keep it around for that. But again, it just takes up no space on my keys. Why not have it? And then finally, the Uncle Bill's Sliver gripper tweezers. I use these suckers all the time. Probably every other day I'm pulling out a splinter or tweezing some little errant hair somewhere or something like that. They're just super handy. You'll always find little uses for them. Someone told me that theirs fell out of this little sheath, this little clip that it comes with, but I've had this puppy on here for months. Actually over a year, I believe. I think I picked this up last year in the summer, and it's never come off. It's never even come close to coming off. It's never been loose, so I can definitely recommend it as being durable. It seems to want to stay put pretty well. And then finally, I think I've gone over everything but what everybody's probably waiting to hear a little bit about, and this is the Spyderco Yojimbo 2 knife. Now, this is very obviously a tactical and aggressive design, and it is in fact designed by, I think the guy's name is Michael Janich. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name, forgive me for that, but I'm not a knife fighting guy. I just think it's a beautiful design, and it's actually very practical for everyday use. You might look at it, like a lot of Spyderco's designs, you might be looking at it and just thinking it's so bizarre looking. How could that possibly be comfortable or functional? But it is, in every sense of both words, very much that. It's got Spyderco's classic and ubiquitous round opening hole, very quick to open. It has the compression lock that you see there. Very convenient, very durable. Seems to lock it in pretty much like a vise. The blade just does not want to move. And I'll go into, if people would like to hear it, I can go into a full video, either reviewing or just sort of talking about the features and the functions of this knife. But it's a beautiful design. My thumb seems to melt right onto the back of the blade, which, as many of you know from my other videos, this is exactly where I like to put my thumb on a knife when I work. I know this seems to be where manufacturers design knives to have your thumb sit back here, but to me that feels so foreign. I tend to just sort of move far up onto the spine of the blade, and this one has this beautiful space on the spine there. It's wide, it's comfortable, and I can set my thumb right there and go right to work. And despite being this flat Wharncliffe design and sort of a aggressive, sharp, pronounced sheep's foot, the blade's very functional in just about every task you could throw at it. If you're cutting open boxes, cutting rope, slicing food, anything, it really works well. The only thing it doesn't work well for is what I use my knife for most often at work, which is to clean off survey lath. I use my knife as a sort of an eraser, and for that, a belly of any kind, even a recurve, is fantastic for my work. So this knife doesn't get carried at work, just at home. But once I get home, it's one of the first knives I reach for to throw in my pocket, and I highly recommend it. Beautiful design, great size, super comfortable, at least in my hand. And just such a bizarre and interesting design. These were, until very recently, hard to get your hands on, but just as of the release of this video, if you look around online, they're starting to show up everywhere. So I think Spyderco has been able to ramp up production, because I saw them going for a very nice price. I paid $118 for this one, including shipping, and I just saw a bunch go from a reputable dealer on eBay for $107. So if you're interested in this design, keep your eyes peeled, because they're really starting to be out there. The market's starting to broaden for those Yojimbo 2 knives, and they're getting easier to find. Real quick, some other knives that I've been carrying. If you follow my Instagram, you know I carry a different knife almost every single day, because I hate leaving any knife at home for too long. This is the Sebenza Insingo. This is the large model. Absolutely beautiful knife. You know what I'm really excited about is I've been carrying it enough finally that I'm getting some nice natural wear to the handles. And you folks that send these in to get that spa finish and get the handles buffed out, you're crazy, because there is nothing more beautiful than when you get titanium that starts to get the little fine scratches and wear. I just think that that is so pretty. And this one's sort of taken on a nice sort of rough, worn finish, which I really rather like. Sort of akin to the, you know, sort of patina that you might get with copper or bronze or brass, something of that nature. Another knife I've been carrying often, which again, if you watch my Instagram, you've seen, is the Zero Tolerance 0561. Both of these knives, in fact, came from the same guy, great guy, who on YouTube goes by the name Tropic EDC. I think he changed his name on Instagram. I don't recall it at the moment, but super generous guy. Gave me a great price on both of these. And I love them both. They both have that titanium frame lock. The ZT561, a lot of people say it's too big, but if you've been watching my channel or my Instagram for any length of time, you know I like a large knife, and to me this is very comfortable. The thumb ramp at the back isn't too pronounced, so my thumb still fits there nicely, and especially because of the longer length of the blade, I can actually rest my thumb further towards the handle, or closer towards the handle, and it still is quite comfortable. Nice knife. It opens quickly. It's on bearings, so it snaps open fast. Very cool all around. That's something I've been carrying often when I want something small and discreet. The Spyderco Techno, also a titanium frame lock. It's another nice choice. I've been carrying too many knives to show. This is the Zero Tolerance 0550 with my blue handle, which I love so much. Might be my favorite knife that I've been carrying for the past year or so. Very cool design. This is not the deep carry clip. I prefer the non-deep carry. Titanium frame lock again. Hinderer, blue, frag patterned scale. Having trouble remembering all the names and technical details of all this stuff. But I've also been carrying a couple Emersons, some other Spydercos, too many to mention. So if you want to see all the different stuff I'm carrying day to day, check out my Instagram feed. This video is already very, very long, and I'm just going to mention a couple more last minute items. The LG Google Nexus 4 is still my cell phone. Been carrying this for a couple years now. In fact, I think I'm at the 2-year anniversary. Nice phone, getting a little long in the tooth. Kind of eyeballing the iPhone 6. I'm kind of looking at the Nexus 6. I'm not getting because it's just too darn big. I'm shocked that they didn't make a smaller version of that phone, but I'll pick up something new eventually because the battery on that one's getting worn out, and it's time to upgrade. That 2-year mark, you kind of hit that, and just like the manufacturers like, you start looking for a new smartphone, and I probably will. I want to mention this. This was given to me from the same friend that also gave me the Sharpworks Pry Buddy. This came from a gal named Laura. Her name on YouTube was Wait My Turn. I'm not sure if she still uses that name because I know she changed her name on Instagram, which, forgive me, I forget at the moment. This is the Pelican clip from HL Human, which I think stands for Hard Living Humans. I think it's a little one-man company, but he makes these cool little clips. You can see there is no bottle opener, there is no pry bar, there is no screwdriver, no hex wrench, nothing. This is just a key dangler or keychain, whatever you want to call it. This puppy hooks around your belt loop on your jeans, or it can hook to the corner of your pocket. You hang your keys or your multi-tool or whatever, your flashlight maybe, from this, and that's all it does. But it is small, it is thin, it is light, and it does it beautifully, and it's very inexpensive. If you look this fella up on Instagram or online, I think you can pick one of these up for under $20. But well machined, very comfortable, and it does exactly what it says it does. If you put one of these on your jeans, despite it having the open end here, it's staying put, and I'm very pleased with how secure it is. I was carrying this on my keys for quite some time, and I took it off, but I did want to show it on this video, and I'll probably put it back on again. I just have so many different toys, I want to switch everything around all the time, and I don't always have the time to do that. A couple other last minute things as we're rolling up on 25 minutes, incredibly. Yet another very, very generous gift from my friend Laura. This is the Victorinox Alox Solo. That super shiny, but of course filthy and dirty and dusty blade with my fingerprints all over it, but that's all it is. Just one blade, super thin, single layer, very light, very comfortable to carry, disappears in any of your pockets, and has an extremely strong back spring, which is like a guillotine, so make sure you keep your fingers out of there when you're using one of these. This is the Victorinox Pioneer in Alox, the aluminum handle scales. Very thin, no tweezers, no toothpick, that's okay. Still has all sorts of functionality. This came from my good buddy Stick to Drum, Mario Stick to Drum on YouTube and Instagram. Great guy, super funny, super nice, and obviously very generous because out of the blue he just sent this puppy to me. And I love it. It's got full-size blade. We have an awl on the other side. The back springs on these Alox knives are just vicious. They're very, very strong, which is good. It keeps the tools from falling out, but it also makes them really snappy. But we got the awl, the full-size blade, and then on one end you've got a flathead screwdriver and a cap lifter or a bottle opener. That little dealie at the end, I think that's always supposed to be the, what is it, wire stripper? I don't know. I never used it for that, but there's one of those if you need it. You also have a little mini or small flathead driver at the end of this bad boy, and then you have a can opener, which nowadays not so common to need one of these, but you know, if you're backpacking, hiking, you got to get that can of beans open or whatever, so you have one of those. But great size, very thin. This one is, I guess you would consider that a 3-layer, but either way, very comfortable, very svelte. I have another one of these beautiful little pocket clips, very inexpensive. I just hang the little key ring from there, clip that in my pocket, it dangles down inside. Super convenient, super light, and when it's that small and light, I don't mind carrying that in addition to a full-size blade and a multi-tool, even though you have a lot of redundancy there. Who cares? It's just fun. That's pretty much it. Now, I know I owe you folks, my loyal viewers, I know I owe you a video on the 511 Rush 12 and the Moab 10. That's a backpack and a sling bag respectively, and those videos are coming soon. I might throw those into one video together. I've actually done a couple videos, a couple trial runs of that, and I didn't like the way they came out, basically. So I'm going to redo them, and that's actually why a bunch of my reviews haven't come up that I've been promising, is because I've shot them, and then I didn't like the way they turned out, so I'm going to reshoot them all and do them again. So look for that very soon. That, in fact, should be the very next video, hopefully, that you see. And then I also got another new bag, a GoRuck bag, which I'll share that with you later, and I'll try and get in some closer view type videos or reviews of some knives and things that I've been carrying. Anyway, so that is it. That's the core of my EDC. This is probably my longest EDC video I've done in a while. These are the basic set of items that I carry with me every day, and again, as I mentioned, they do change, but each little tool, there's always going to be something in its place for that specific task. And I hope this gives you a little insight into what I'm carrying and why, and maybe give you a little bit of inspiration or motivation to maybe change up your own everyday carry or maybe add one of these items to it. I'm always glad to hear anything that you folks have to say in the comments. If you want to drop a line, except for when someone says something really, really mean, that's not cool. But if you have something interesting to say, or even if not, you just want to talk, feel free to message me or leave something in the comments below. I appreciate each and every comment, and I don't always get to them as quickly as I would like, but they do all get read, and I appreciate and thank you for every last one of them that I get. So thank you very much for staying with me this long. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye.